can move on then to Pandorum, which you two guys saw. So
Yes.
I'll let you, Brian, give us a little
All right.
rundown.
Pandorum is a futuristic tale in space of I believe they even said it, some of the last surviving humans. Humanity rests on this ship, getting to this new Earth-like planet they found in another solar system. And in the middle, like right off the bat, you get two guys waking up out of their cryogenic freezer chambers, and I don't believe it's planned,
Yeah,
but
it was.
yeah,
It didn't go as schedule.
yeah, it was off schedule.
So it
They
was
were
an
supposed to,
accidental wake up.
Yeah.
That's what we're talking
Yeah.
about. Yeah.
and they wake up, and one's memory is gone, who is played by, I forget his name.
Bob is his first name.
Yeah,
I think
he was in 310 to Yuma. I can't remember his name though. And then a Lieutenant Peyton, who's played by Dennis Quaid, is awake, and Peyton is stuck in a control room while the other guy is going out to the corridors to find his way around to get the ship running again. And from there, you kind of, I mean, I really thought it was going to be a horror film going into it, but it was more of a thriller, which I was impressed with. It wasn't like Alien at all, which is what I felt the commercials kind of made it feel like.
Yeah.
But it really wasn't. But there were some aliens, but they weren't that scary compared to Alien. Yeah, and I mean, from there on out, it's just survival of the humans, and he meets some people on the ship that are awake, and
Yeah.
more
For me, it
things
was
unfold.
newer version and nowhere near as well done as Alien, but the end of the movie was a lot better than the beginning, as we were saying.
Oh, definitely.
And I'd also throw almost like a little Halo plot to it in a way at times. The video game, in case no one knew. But the makeup for the costumes for the quote-unquote aliens, I thought was interesting. I mean, it wasn't scary, but it was definitely, entertaining and different at first.
So what was it like? Can you describe it?
Very human,
It was human, like a mutated human that glows blue or green.
and he had spikes on him and weapons.
But it had human features, 2 eyes, nose, mouth.
Yeah, almost Gollum-esque, I'd say.
It was legs and hands, but he ran on all fours.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
and it was
like faster. It's a
So
very,
like those little aliens in A Trip to the Voyage to the Moon, the 1903 George Méliès things. These are little aliens who run on all fours and blow up when you hit them with your umbrella.
Yeah, these were stronger. Didn't necessarily, they didn't die anywhere near as easily as a human would.
Yeah,
So like one got a knife halfway through his skull and was still perfectly fine.
I see.
yeah.
So do they regenerate themselves, or?
They multiply like humans.
Yeah,
That's I believe what they were saying, because they
Eventually.
show a child version of the alien. Yeah.
So how are the special effects in this film?
it's a very jumpy cut film.
Yeah.
You learn reasons for it later.
So it makes sense. The style makes sense, and
Yeah,
the
it really
context of what
becomes.
they're.
It definitely becomes more
trying to.
psychological, and the filming itself really helps it along. But the fact is, it's in the beginning of the film before you even know the psychological aspects later on of what Pandorum actually is, which is what the movie's about in theory. And like the editing is for it, but when you don't know it, you're kind of just sitting there, and the shots are just flashing back and forth, and you're going,
So what does Pandora mean?
It's a type of sickness. I mean, they say it kind of in the first 5 minutes of it that they get nervous that crews are going to get. And if there was one whole ship where a crew got it, and the captain of the ship launched emergency ejected everyone into space and basically killed everyone. And so they're nervous about trying to catch this while trying to get the ship running again.
yeah, and not getting killed.
Yeah, and not getting killed. And through the whole time, you're trying to figure out how far are they away from Tarnus, which is the planet that they're trying to get to, and how to survive, and how did these aliens get on board, and how long have they been asleep. So it's like you're trying to put all this together while they're trying to survive.
So do you see any sort of contemporary connections with H1N1 virus pandemic or other sorts of things like that?
I don't know.
mean,
The
were
way
they
I
trying to
took
make that?
Pandorum from, I kind of just got it as a space age version of cabin fever.
Yeah, that's what I would think.
Yeah, that was my take on it.
Just cabin fever in deep space. I mean,
But
That's
times
all-
10
yeah,
apparently,
that's all
'cause
I
it
can
had
think
actual
about.
physical
yeah.
effects instead of mental on you as well.
And it had enough dramatic tension to keep your interest for 90 minutes or
I was,
whatever.
I mean-
I was in it for most of the movie. The beginning, definitely not as much, but probably by the halfway mark or a little bit before it, I was in it from the rest of the movie, really into it actually.
And you said Dennis Quaid stars
Yeah.
in this.
Yeah,
He's
he
actually
does
pretty
a
good.
Really?
Yeah,
Because
he's
it seemed like
pretty
a really
decent.
odd role for him.
It is. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, I thought the movie kept me entertained. I mean, I'm not saying it's not as good as Alien, but I mean, how many good horror thrillers are there going to be?
How many movies are going to be as good as Alien
Yeah.
alone?
Yeah.
I mean,
So it kept me entertained. You were thrilled. You're trying to figure out things as you're watching it, and the makeup was good. I liked a lot of some of the chase scenes. There was some pretty good chase scenes in it, and for people who analyze the film, they have a lot of glow sticks throughout it, like to use to light their way. And I noticed like the glow sticks change with the mood.
yeah, the
Like
colors.
when the colors of it. So like when he was in really danger towards the end, it was like a bright red one instead of when it first started. And he was curious, it was like an ominous green or blue. And so like I noticed the glow sticks change with the amount of danger.
Sort of like
they were in.
those mood rings of the 1960s
Yeah,
or something.
like it wasn't supposed to be like a mood ring; it just happened to be the color. But you know, the
Yeah.
color also happened to let you know what was going on.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of internal battles with themselves. It's like, it really does come down to being very psychological, and I did not expect that from this. I mean,
So did you come to care about the characters?
Yeah,
Yeah.
as I was about to allude to next, is it shows almost like the de-evolution of man or the humanity.
Yeah.
Because everyone at this point is, you know, survival of the fittest. You got to do it on your own, and eventually one group slowly comes together, and they're like they speak different languages, they do different things, and a lot of them are very primitive, but then they come together to help advance the future. So it shows almost like the de-evolution and the re-evolution of humanity.
So we have a kind of connection actually with Zombieland. I mean, if we have folks trying to survive and
Yeah.
Yeah.
folks trying to, you know.
definitely, because
Exciting.
it becomes a group of 3 people halfway through the film that team up and wander the ship to find the reactor chamber to turn everything back on so the ship doesn't lose power.
Yeah.
Yeah, instead of 4, which, I mean, and ironically, actually, is the 2 people that join up with him, one of them was trying to kill him at first to start the movie, which is exciting. It was actually, that scene was cool in the beginning. That was
Yeah.
probably the best part of the beginning of the movie.
The
was
fight scenes are pretty good
Yeah.
for it. They're fast. You know, it seems like they actually know how to fight, and it's interesting when you find out like why they're all trying to fight each other.
So are they using a lot of CGI or?
I don't think they used, I mean, there are some scenes where they had to put more aliens in CGI than costume, but I think most of the time the aliens were actually costumed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think just the most technique that was used was just the quick cuts, like the in editing itself, not the special effects.
Yeah.
I was actually pretty impressed with not a lot of special effects for a space movie.
So your bottom line on this is wait till it comes out.
I mean, when it comes out, definitely worth to see. I mean, I've paid more to see worse movies, and I was actually decently happy with it. So,
Yeah, matinee wouldn't be a bad decision.
I mean, we paid $5.75 to see it. I
Yeah,
wasn't
that's
complaining.
fine.
Okay, good.